I think we got to be somewhere in the middle. I definitely believe that you want to maximize your quarterback skill set, and I don't want to pretend as if utilizing his legs is something that we shouldn't value, right? Like, we should absolutely value. We saw what he did, and I know they can't hit, but just that cut on Brandon Graham, and Brandon Graham looks silly as he takes the ball up and runs. So there is still something in that I want to see and utilize with that repertoire. So I want to do that, but there's a reason why we keep hearing Hurts to A.J. Brown, Hurts to A.J. Brown, or Hurts to A.J. Brown when Bradbury had great coverage and he makes that excellent one-handed grab.
Appreciate you streaming in the Birds 365 with McMullen. I'm McDonald. Thank you for joining us. Oh, he's going hoodie on us. Oh, we described him as a star before we punched him up. Didn't know he was going all lax on us. What's the hoodie you got on there, Brenner Hoodie? What does that say there?
I mean, it's a John Deere hoodie. I knew I was going to get made fun of for being in the hoodie. It's a little chilly down here in the studio. Look, I'll be honest with you. The computer's giving me problems. My setup's giving me a problem. I'm rocking the phone right now because of everything. But look, I'm just here for the people.
Ah, there we go. Way to spin it. That's why he is a star. Spin it about the people. I'm going to go John Deere because he's supporting Cam Jurgens. That's what I'm going.
There you go.
The new starting center for hopefully only a month right before September 11th. And the hoodie, maybe that's Hassan Reddick and Jalen Reagor because they wear the hoodie when it's 100 out. So maybe.
There you go. Of course. Honestly, I got to fix something down here because in the summers, it's too cold. And then in the winters, I end up sweating for how much I'm going crazy. So it's a little bonkers, but it's okay.
That's just good insulation. That means you're living in a good house. You bought a nice place, Hunter, with the big bucks they're paying you over there at 97.5, the Fanatic, as part of the best show ever.
Yeah, no pressure there, buddy. No pressure there. The best show ever.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're about a week and a half in, and I'm having a blast. It's a lot of fun working with Tyrone, Ricky Bo, Jen Scordo. We're loving it, keeping it loose, just having fun, cracking jokes, and I can't wait to continue every day.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my first best show ever question. How are you going to get Patalico up to speed on the Eagles?
Oh, the funny thing is, because we talk a lot about it off the air, and he tries to poke the bear on us a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what his takes become because he's the outside looking in as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. But I think that could be good entertainment. That could be good. That. Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't know that yet. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of entertainment because he'll have different views, obviously, than us who, are in the thick of all the emotions. And maybe he could either get us a little bit more upset or who knows, maybe talk us off a cliff.
So, I always like to talk to guys like you and Jody who take the phone calls from listeners because I don't get to do that. And by the way, Godspeed to you. You're doing God's work. What do you think? What's your gauge? What's the fan base think of this team right now? Over expectations, under expectations? Where are they with this team?
It's interesting because I actually asked Tim McManus this the other day after the Super Bowl win. Obviously, everyone felt so good, and then it was a little bit of a collapse, if you will, based off of where those expectations were, whether they were fair or unfair. And right now, obviously, the team feels great, but are they too overconfident as a team? And this bleeds together to the fan base, so that's why I'm kind of bringing this up first. But, are they too overconfident? Are they right where they should be confidence-wise? And he kind of labeled it where they probably should be. There should be some buzz. There should be some attitude and an edge, but it doesn't smell like it's too much. I think the fan base might probably be in that same area because I think a lot of this stems from who the quarterback is. So that's why it's not going overboard. If there was a more I believe in this quarterback right now feel, then I would probably say that the fan base would be over expecting and go like crazy. Or maybe it would be right as well because maybe they are a quarterback away. I don't know. But I will say this. It feels that it's because of the way training camp is nowadays, they don't give you as much beef to hang on to. So it's a little different compared to in years past where you're dissecting every little play that occurs during camp. And the open practice was nice because you got to see it with your own two eyes. But it's a little different. And maybe the Phillies doing great is making an impact on that as well, because they're actually talkable as we look towards a stretch for Red October. But it's not as heavy as we felt in years past. But I think the fan base is reasonably excited.
All right, Hunter, I'm going to ask you to do something you're only going to have to do thousands of times in the next however many years. And that's push the organization aside and step up and say, oh, here's what I would do. Because my partner and I kind of disagree on this one. And I did a show with Joe DeCamera the other day, and I disagree with him. Both John and Joe said the Eagles should really just turn back the clock to last year. If they want to have the best chance to win the most games this year, they need to do what they did last year, which is be a run-heavy, run-first offensive football team. I don't believe that's going to happen. The moves that the Eagles have made and the things that have been said by some very powerful, important people like Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman kind of show that they want to pass the ball more this year than they did last year. And number two, and I'm with them on that, I think that Jalen Hurts deserves the right to show that he can or can't be a higher volume quarterback thrower than he was last year. You're in charge, Hunter. You're the coach.
Yeah.
You're the guy. They're going to come to you and go, all right, Hunter, we're going to do what you think we should do. What are you saying the Eagles should do?
I think we got to be somewhere in the middle. I definitely believe that you want to maximize your quarterback skill set, and I don't want to pretend as if utilizing his legs is something that we shouldn't value, right? Like, we should absolutely value. We saw what he did, and I know they can't hit, but just that cut on Brandon Graham, and Brandon Graham looks silly as he takes the ball up and runs. So there is still something in that I want to see and utilize with that repertoire. So I want to do that, but there's a reason why we keep hearing Hurts to A.J. Brown, Hurts to A.J. Brown, or Hurts to A.J. Brown when Bradbury had great coverage and he makes that excellent one-handed grab right at the end zone there. So I think what we need to do is, what happened early on last season was you had Jalen Hurts throwing 40-plus times, and they didn't establish their identity yet. Last year, they should build off of using the run game, but you got to implement more of the deep shots, and I feel you can now because of the skill set of the receivers. Did you have the power to do as much as you wanted to do last year? You can make the argument there were some throws out there that were missed, whether it was Quez Watkins or whatnot, but you eliminate Jalen Reagor's snap count. We hope. We eliminate some of that. Now it's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith with maybe a Pascal in there who can create a good role for himself. So I think not only is it the X's and O's side of things from Nick Sirianni and the play calling, but now they have a group that I feel they believe they could do more with too. So collectively with all that, I'll start to see it more this year. And if I was the head coach, I would definitely push those buttons.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a nice, and it's always hard to find that middle ground. But, I think when I say the Eagles should be like they were last year, Hunter, run first, people automatically assume I don't think they should ever pass the ball. No, they can make big plays in the passing game. I just think you have to build on what you just said, the skill set of the quarterback and this mentality that, and the Eagles play into this, and we just talked about it with Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens is a 22-year-old guy. And I understand why Jody was saying it. He's like, are they going to play Cam Jurgens in the preseason? Maybe not. Maybe Jody's right. Is this team just gone over the top? Jalen Hurts is 24 years old. I mean, he just had his birthday at the link at the open practice. He's really in really good shape. He deadlifts 600 pounds. He's given up the sugary lemonade. He's done all these things. I'm not worried. I can't be worried about putting him in bubble wrap. I can't be worried. Oh, he can't run the ball. If he can get me a first down on 3rd and 9 off schedule, go get me a stinking first down. Build around the 24-year-old quarterback and don't pretend he's a 34-year-old guy. You got to put, I don't know, next to the base and with the good china. Have the Eagles gone too far with this mentality that they got everybody thinking, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to protect this? It's a violent sport. He might get hurt, but I can't legislate that. And I know they can't either.
Right. Well, let me throw this your way, because it sounds like you're saying people don't want him to run first because they're afraid of getting hit or getting hurt. But I almost take it as, and maybe I'm reading this wrong, is it's more about you can't win in this league with this style of offense compared to the Josh Allen's, Pat Mahomes. Am I reading you right where you're feeling it's more about the hitting side of it?
It's both, but as far as your point, it's also, you probably can't. I always call it margin of error. Like Kansas City has a bigger margin of error than you do. You remember that Houston playoff game? They get behind, what was it, 21? I think it was 24, whatever it was. Yeah. 24. They came back. Eagles get down 24. They ain't winning the game. I don't care who they're playing. So the margin of error is smaller. But we've already seen San Francisco make deep runs. You can make deep runs playing a certain way. My point is the Eagles need to play this way to maximize their chances. If they play Justin Herbert, if they play Patrick Mahomes football, they're not going to be good enough. They can't just drop back and throw the football 40 times and win football games. That's not the strength of their quarterback. That's kind of my overriding both sides of the fence on that topic.
Yeah, and I agree completely. Like, you don't want to sit there and just say, well, I want a quarterback who's a gunslinger, so we're just going to force Jalen Hurts in all of these sequences in these games where he's dropping back or he's in the shotgun and just say, be that guy for us, please, because that's what works in this league. You got to find that comfortability mix, which is, he does a lot of things well. And he does a lot of things well throwing the ball that maybe people don't give him credit for, even though there are holes within his range. But you have to capitalize on where he does have his strengths within that throwing game. And, A.J. Brown addition, I think, will be massive for that, too. I mean, not only is there that relationship that we all know about off the field, but it does seem like they are connecting. And it's fascinating. What does that mean for a Dallas Goedert, right? If there's so much emphasis on these two receivers, what can Dallas Goedert do over the middle? I can't wait to see what this offense looks like. But I agree with John in regards to, you don't want to make him something that he's not and pretend that he's something that he's not just because it tickles your fancy. You got to see and respond off of what his capabilities are.
All right, for both of you guys, if that were the case, which it just flat out isn't, they're going to try and throw the ball more than they did this year. I got bad news for you, both of you. But if it were the case, should they have upgraded the running back room? These are the three same backs, sons, Jordan Howard, that ran the ball for the Eagles last year. If you want to tell me one of their running backs that are undrafted free agents.
DeAndre Torrey.
Come on, the Andre Torrey signing was huge yesterday. Not. Should Howie Roseman have done that? Is this running back group going to be enough if the Eagles get to week 3, week 6, week 7, whatever it happens, they'll go, oh, spit. We got to go back to running the football. Is this group good enough to do that?
Well, Jordan Howard's a phone call away, fellas. Jordan Howard's him and Richard Rodgers. They're always waiting. Where's Jordan Matthews? Him too. Yeah. They're sitting in a room waiting for the call.
He's not playing. Yeah. He might be.
I don't even think he's. I think he is sitting in a room. I think there's dust on him, and they just when they go into the closet and they just get the dust out and say, "Hey, Jordan, get out there."
No, here's the good sign. He actually had a couple of workouts for some teams over the last 10 days. And neither of the teams signed him, which means he's still available. I thought that he was going to get scooped up.
Yeah, but let me throw this in. The fact that we're talking about Jordan Howard, like he can come back and solve all issues, is the exact reason why I don't care. I don't even like the Eagles running backs. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Miles is a good runner. I don't think he's a good running back. Everybody else, I think, is just a guy.
And it's Gainwell?
Yeah,
you're not drinking the juice?
No, not drinking the juice yet. Good natural receiver, but really small. It's not going to be a lead back. Come on, stop with that, people out there. But, Hunter Brody in the John Deere hoodie can get 4 yards of carry behind this offensive line. Everybody. And by the way, that's part of the strength of Jalen Hurts because you see these RPOs and the Eagles and the people got to see it in the open practice. Eagles defenses look great all summer. They break out the RPOs. They don't know what they're doing. Their heads are on it. They're like tops spinning around. And Miles Sanders, 5.5 yards a carry. Boston Scott, whatever the heck he was, 4.6, 4.7. Anybody can run behind this offensive line with the +1 of Jalen Hurts in the running game. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about with the strengths of Jalen Hurts. So it all kind of, would I prefer a better running back? Yes, I would prefer a better running back. Do they need one? Probably not.
I see it the same way. John and I are on the same wavelengths. That's a little scary, I think.
That's scary for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I've never sat here, and even though they might not be the biggest names or whatever the case is, I feel the running back position is one that, you kind of pluck and play, and you can put some guys in there and they do a good job, especially because of what Jeff Stoutland does. And that's create this beast of an offensive line. There's always gaps there. So I never really had to, but I don't love them. I'm not paying Miles Sanders big money. I don't like the fact that he always runs his mouth too. There's a reason why you were taking second team snaps there, Miles Sanders. Don't look at us. Maybe look in the mirror. There's something missing. I mean, he's a great running back, don't get me wrong, but there is something missing that's putting him in a better tier in my eyes, whether it's missing gaps that are there, whether it's fumbling the ball, whether it's not staying in bounds. There's very fine details of this game that you have to nail down to put yourself in a phenomenal tier, and he's lacking that, and maybe he's unaware of it, obviously, by some of his comments. But I still think he does a good job, and he can clearly do some damage when he is locked in. So as a core, I'm not screaming that they need to upgrade, even knowing that I feel they have to focus on that part of the game to have a successful offense.
Hunter, the Eagles defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, is one of those lightning rod guys. It seems people either like him a lot or don't like him a little bit. And here in Philadelphia, because he does a little bit differently than previous defensive coordinators that did, that group of those who don't trust him, don't like him, is bigger than it probably should be. But you on the Jonathan Gannon bandwagon, a big fan, to be determined? Yeah, we're going to find out this guy really isn't all that good this year. If someone wants to hire him as a good coach, see you later, bye. What is your take on Jonathan Gannon?
I'm in a very uncomfortable spot. There's no sugarcoating that last year I really did hate it. I mean, there's no way that you can watch guys have career years or career games and the completion percentage being so high. I know what his logic is. More snaps mean that there's more opportunities to fail or a mistake will happen if the drives are longer, but it doesn't work when Derek Carr isn't missing anybody. It doesn't work when there's so much time and space for these above average quarterbacks to hit their targets in stride. The damage will be done. So you got to figure something out. It's going to be fascinating, right? With Bradbury, just zone, or Darius Slay, press coverage, man-to-man. There's so many areas here. And where are the safeties going to be? They're going to be lined all the way back up. And I don't know. But I will say, I don't think he's as dumb as the reaction. There's a reason, I think, why the NFL world was so high on him. When they signed him, the reaction was, whoa, the Eagles got a steal. This guy's phenomenal. He's unbelievable. And then we started scratching our heads. But I don't think all of that buzz was just generated for nothing. Sometimes coaches fail, though. There was a lot of buzz for Chip Kelly, and then that ran out of steam. So there are sometimes people that get that love and all of it, and it ends up flopping. But I feel he's smarter than what he put on display in some of those games last year. And now that he has the potential roster to maybe do some different things and get versatile with his looks. I mean, we were talking about some awful, awful defensive players last year.
That's true. Jody got to see JG shut me down at practice the other day.
Well, he didn't shut you down. He just gave you a brief, short, really didn't say
well, that's
anything.
shutting you down. That's shutting you down.
Oh,
but I made him talk about it. I gave the quick follow-up. So he just didn't want to, because he knew where I was going with it. He didn't want to deal with it. But that's inside baseball.
Like I want to see, Darius Slay up at the line of scrimmage, jamming receiver. I want to make it tough for these guys. And I'm not screaming the blitz stuff. I'm just saying I want to see more attitude than the softer coverage. And we'll see if you have to snap the ball a lot and you might make a mistake. It's like, yeah, maybe Daniel Jones and Trevor Siemian and who Mike Glennon. they might make mistakes, but Derek Carr's not missing a pass, and Derek Carr is not on the level of the Pat Mahomes, Herberts, and all these other guys that, are in that special mood.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more of it. I mean, one, and I probably mentioned it on the show to you, Jody. There was a play in practice, Hunter, in one-on-ones where James Bradbury just lit up Devontae Smith in press coverage. It was, how you hear the big hit, guys, you get the woo. This was a woo on press coverage. He just lit him up. And he's a big physical corner. He's been phenomenal in training camps. Everybody knows how good Slay is. Avonte Maddox is really good. So they have way better personnel. And it starts up front with Jordan Davis and Hassan Reddick and company. But we're talking like the back seven is better. And I'm in that camp. Are we skipping steps with the TJ Edwardses of the world and the Marcus Eppses of the world? They've looked great in camp. But, it's not Bobby Wagner and Ronnie Lott. Do they still have some issues to be concerned about in the back seven?
I would think so, especially with the safeties. I guess my argument would be, how rare is it where you're just thrilled with every single position? Isn't there normally a weak spot here and there throughout the NFL, or even on these good teams, right? I mean, you talk about legendary defenses, maybe a lot of the names are sexy, but during the normal teams that are still very good and have a lot of respect and do a lot of good things, there's probably a safety here and there that are more of just the get-by guys, right? I look at Anthony Harris as a guy who's played a lot of football in this league. Can you get a Steven Nelson? He was a get-by kind of guy. They're thrown in the mix throughout good defenses too. So maybe that's me trying to sell myself some optimism and belief that they could do a lot of great things as a defense with a hole in the safety position. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be rare, I would imagine, here, after watching all the football we do on Sundays, where every position is nailed down to a T of just excellence on a defense.
All right, Hunter, want to jet set ahead. I know we got Jets this week, then a couple of joint practices, and the last couple of preseason games before we get to September 11th. But I want to jump straight ahead. A couple of different people have been of the opinion, week one at the Lions. You don't want to get the Lions before they know that they're a bad team and that they absolutely are going to be improved from last year. My take has been, the Lions won 3 games on merit last year, and they didn't necessarily upgrade their roster all that much. Jameson Williams, number 1 draft pick, not going to be ready week number 1. The guy that they used their second number 1 draft pick on is Aiden Hutchinson going to sack Jalen Hurts 4 times in the opener? I don't think so. But I did watch Hard Knocks, and I got to be honest, I like Dan Campbell. He's the kind of guy I would like to play
could you
for,
not?
Have him be my head coach. But I also still believe the Lions stink. I don't think their talent is good enough. How much concern should Eagle fans have? Because there are some media guys in this town are going, be careful, week 1, Lions, jump up and bite you. Eagles aren't getting bit week 1, are they?
I don't think so. I really don't. But am I being naive? I guess going back to when you just analyze a week 1 scenario. There's so much adrenaline going. It's so weird. You don't take that many hits anymore throughout training camps and preseason and all
that. The Lions do. The Eagles might not, but the Lions do.
There's another reason to be worried, Jody. There's another reason.
Yeah.
Old school.
Betting, though, if I'm a betting man, if you will, I would absolutely still take my shot on the Eagles. I can't imagine it happening. It's not a no-brainer lock by any means. But I think when it's all said and done, Nick Sirianni is going to have this team. Look what they did last year, and the Falcons ended up not being a great team by any means, and maybe that's a good comparison because I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be a very good team. But they went out there and they just stomped them, and they were rocking and rolling, and everything was in sync. And from there, we're like, whoa, what do we got here? Then, of course, we had a lot of discussions after that point. But, I can see, as much as people are afraid because, well, look at the way that they have that energy going in Detroit. Well, look at the way that this team's got some energy. Let's not minimize the fact that Nick Sirianni has this team with some, just a great attitude, a good head on their shoulders with a comfortable level of confidence in my eyes. So I'm not worried about it, but week one's always strange.
Yeah, and that's part of it as well because it's week one, it's the home opener. But as you mentioned, it didn't help Atlanta last year with a rookie head coach. At Broads Media, Hunter Brody, listen to him 2 to 6 on 97.5 The Fanatic. You can also watch him NBC Sports Philly, the best show ever, which kind of pigeonholes Jody and I to number 2, but we'll take it. We'll take number 2.
How did the phone hold up? Did it do okay?
The phone held up great.
Phone did
actually.
well. Yeah.
The phone did really well. So you got that top of the line iPhone.
Got to call the provider and scream. I got to do the old. It's been about a week now of horrendousness. We got to go to the point where what's that? I'm going to the other side.
You got to go. Oh. You got to go to Twitter and complain at them, and then they'll get stuff done. I did that.
Oh yeah,
it worked. Yeah, it worked.
Really?
Guess what?
Monitor their Twitter, huh?
Yeah, I'll end up hanging up on here in about 5 seconds. You're going to see your Twitter feed going crazy and me screaming.
All right, bros. Last one, real quick, because I think the Eagles are going to win Week 1 in Detroit. I'm with you guys, but how are they going to win? Jalen Hurts 4 touchdowns throwing the ball, or Jalen Hurts 2 touchdowns running the ball, 2 touchdowns throwing the ball, run first, pass first. How do they get it done Week 1?
A.J. Brown and the passing game. I think it's going to be A.J. Brown because it's the new toy. It's fun. And every time and maybe that backfires at some point because you're trying to thread the needle so much in that direction. But I think for week 1, knowing that that's the hottest topic, knowing that that's the relationship that seems to be the storylines on how much that, they're accomplishing that connection. It's probably going to be a little A.J. Brown show. Then, of course, a little Devontae Smith action. Real quick, I got a question for you, John. Where is Devontae Smith right now with this hammy? Did he? I think I saw he finally did something. Groin.
He's groin. Really close. I saw him. He looked fine. He's completely fine. They're just being really cautious. He might have got lit up on that play by Bradbury I was talking about. That's maybe where he hurt his groin.
No, but I'll put him on the list of starters who won't be starting against the
Jets. He definitely won't be starting. No, he hasn't practiced at all.
I'm surprised we're even going to get a little bit.
Yeah. So am I.
Not a lot. I think Nick just said that to appease the guys yesterday.
Get ready.
What he's doing.
If you get to 22 guys, some of which are injured, I know, Kelsey and Devontae Smith, less than 10 are going to start. Jody Mack's prediction. And my other prediction, and Hunter, I know you can't say, Jody Mack told me because that could get you in trouble on the air. Send it in. Eagles 4-point favorite opening week. Send it in. It will be by at least 2 touchdowns. Eagles win easy week 1. Just remember you heard it here first.
All righty. Will do.
All right. Pull the hoodie up. Get warm down there in the basement.
Yeah, that's the first time I've told somebody to get warm this week.
Get that basement computer work up to speed because we're getting you back here with us. I'm Birds 365. Thanks, brother. Congrats.
Thank you so much, fellas. Talk to you soon.